Chapter 71 The Five Supreme Beings of the Human Race. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing the black water covering everything, Zhao Mu sighed, guess it's just fate, different strokes for different folks, and the spiritual world ain't fair. He lit a fire, burned everything in the stone house, then silently turned, closed the door, and walked away. Back from there, Zhao Mu didn't go asking Zhao Qiuyan about it. They were all having a rough time. No need to pour salt in the wound. Besides, Zhao Mu wasn't sure about the link between Zhao Qiuyan and the monster. If she was just some clueless nobody, no reason to get Zhao Qiuyan involved, so, he got Miaoyin and Xing Ziyue, and the three of them left the ancient city again, heading west straight toward the secret realm center. Along the way, Zhao Mu could feel the number of monsters was going up, and they were getting tougher. Black level and yellow level monsters were basically gone. They were all starting at Earth level, and Heaven level monsters were everywhere, basically walking XP and merit points. Zhao Mu stopped wasting time and started monster hunting full on. The Earth level monsters were just extras, the main goal was the Heaven level ones. Each Heaven level monster was worth 1,000 points. If he could just keep bagging those for the next day or so, he'd be sitting pretty, probably ranking second or third on the list. After all, the hunting day had been going on for a while now, and most of the cultivators were tapped out. Their hunting speed was dropping. Even a big shot like Kong Miaoyin was seeing his points gain slow down, but Zhao Mu's red sun holy body gave him a huge edge on endurance. He could keep fighting for another 10 days, easy. After trekking all day, Zhao Mu and the others finally hit the center of the secret realm. It was a sand dune with an ancient temple in the middle. According to Xing Ziyue, the temple was called Jinhua Temple, and Venerable Mon, one of the human race's biggest hitters and the head of Tianluo Temple, had it built. The temple was meant to save the dead and keep the monsters down. Apparently, back when the air was thick with corruption, the monsters were super vicious, just filled with bloodlust. Sure, the monsters in this secret realm are pretty murderous now, but their ferocity doesn't even touch what it was back then. Only the demon-suppressing temple was keeping the monsters' rage under control. Isn't that just because they've been locked up for 8,000 years? Their anger must be gone by now, Zhao Mu said. Xing Ziyue looked at Zhao Mu, surprised. You're questioning Venerable Mon? He's one of the top 5 in the human cultivation world and our race's shield. If he and the monks of Tianluo Temple weren't guarding the edge of the 10,000 demons forest, who knows how much human territory the demons would have taken. Zhao Mu was a little surprised by her reaction. This Venerable Mon was a big deal to the human race. Who are these top 5 you're talking about? Zhao Mu asked. Xing Ziyue was stunned. You call yourself a genius of the human race and you don't even know this? The top 5 are the leaders of the 5 big holy places: Venerable Mon of Tianluo Temple, Immortal Medicine Lord of Medicine Temple, Sword God Chu Lu of Sword Immortal Pavilion, Ninghua Fairy from Upside Down Mountain, and the mysterious Empress of the Wuxian Kingdom. Are they all Tribulation Realm powerhouses? Zhao Mu asked. Xing Ziyue said, yes and no. Sure, those who've overcome the tribulation are rare, but across the whole Xinwu continent, there are plenty. To be called supreme, though, you have to be among the strongest of the strong. They're all qualified to break through and ascend, but for different reasons, they've chosen to stay. That's why they're called the human race's shield. Without them protecting half the human race, we'd be in even worse shape. Miaoyin chimed in, we demons also respect these 5 human supremes. I've heard that one of our own supremes has been close with Sword God Chu Lu for years. Things between our races aren't great right now, but I believe that with these peace-loving seniors leading the way, we might still see a unified world someday. How did things get so serious so fast? Zhao Mu shrugged and said, one day I'll be a supreme too, and I'll call them all out for a fight. Winner takes all, and we'll settle the human-monster conflict for good. Careful you don't bite your tongue clean off. Xing Ziyue rolled her eyes, but the next second, Zhao Mu slapped her butt. She gritted her teeth, squeezed her legs together in pain, and her ears turned red. Quit talking nonsense and let's hunt. Tons of monsters wandering around the demon suppression temple. While there aren't too many people, let's bag some heaven-level monsters, Zhao Mu said, clenching his fists. he hadn't seen any other demon sect disciples near the temple yet, but it was the last day. The ones at the top of the leaderboard would be showing up soon. Might as well rack up points while the competition wasn't too tough. After some scouting, Zhao Mu got a rough idea of the monsters' movements around the area. There were probably thousands of heaven-level monsters within 10 miles of the demon-suppressing temple. Each had its own territory and kept to itself. Good news, since it was best to take them down one by one. Dealing with multiple heaven-level monsters at once wasn't just more dangerous, it wasn't as efficient as solo hunting. Zhao Mu did some more scouting and picked the southwest area of the demon temple. It had a complicated terrain, with lots of cliffs and caves. That meant the fights were less likely to attract other monsters, making it easier to take them down one at a time. With a hunting plan set, Zhao Mu clenched his fists and headed out, but then, he got a bad feeling. Zhao Mu dodged a flying knife that zipped through the air. You really going to pull this? Zhao Mu figured the demon tribe wouldn't dare attack him so openly on the hunting day, but someone was taking the chance. He waved to Niu Yulan and the others to retreat and hide, then summoned a flying sword, sliced through the air, and blasted it towards the ice spike's path. Boom. The sword that killed Han Ku pierced the air, carrying Zhao Mu's red sun power, triggering a scorching flame. As the sword energy rained down, it looked like a fiery meteor hitting the ground, exploding into a sea of fire. A demon cultivator with jackal ears quickly jumped out of the flames and charged at Zhao Mu. He threw a ton of flying knives from his hands, forming a net around Zhao Mu. Whatever these flying knives were made of, they could form a knife formation all on their own, impenetrable. Boy, you're dead. The jackal demon cultivator sneered. Not your call. Zhao Mu snorted. He strolled calmly toward the flying knife formation, like he was walking through his backyard. His steps seemed casual, but each landed on the safest spot. No matter how fierce the flying knife formation was, it couldn't even graze his clothes. Chapter 72 Assassin is Assassinated. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The flying knife formation used 108 uniquely shaped blades, each one forged from a single piece of basalt steel. They were prism-shaped, with all four sides razor-sharp, and coated in poison. The jackal demon cultivator came specifically to take Zhao Mu out, but what he saw stopped him in his tracks. The kid was nimble as hell, weaving through the flying knives without even ruffling his clothes. He'd already pushed the knives' attack speed to the limit. Normally, even a powerhouse at the peak of the nascent soul stage couldn't dodge that, and even a scratch from one of those knives was enough to drop a god transformation stage cultivator. Thanks to the wicked, icy poison, this poison was like gold dust. He'd paid a fortune for just a tiny bit of it. Now, it was a joke. The knives couldn't even touch the kid, let alone hurt him. Getting pissed off, the jackal demon cultivator blew his cover and unleashed his full nascent soul power, lunging at Zhao Mu. Who sent you? Zhao Mu easily dodged the attack, demanding an answer. You insulted the true dragon, kid. You'll pay for that with your blood. The jackal roared, throwing a haymaker. Long Qianxiang, huh? Zhao Mu frowned. That guy had some nerve. Attacking him during hunting day, a major sect event, and going against Queen Qinyan's orders. He had a death wish, but then Zhao Mu caught a flicker of panic in the jackal demon cultivator's eyes. Something was off. Was he being set up? Zhao Mu wasn't exactly a fan of Long Qianxiang, but he didn't peg him as a total nutjob. If that was his opponent, he'd be worried. Changing his tactics on the fly, Zhao Mu decided to keep the jackal alive, hoping to squeeze some intel out of him. Asterisk swish, star, purple lightning snaked out like vines, instantly wrapping around and immobilizing the jackal demon cultivator. Frozen, his punch still a few feet away, the jackal's eyes went wide with terror. What insane power. He was a peak nascent soul, yet he felt helpless against a core formation level cultivator. The kid was a real genius. He had to be stopped. Suddenly, a violent surge of spiritual energy welled up from the jackal demon cultivator's core. Not again. Zhao Mu knew the drill. The jackal was about to self-destruct his nascent soul. He instantly struck with his palm, slamming into the jackal's core, blasting red sun fire into his body, and incinerating the nascent soul before it could explode. Puff. The self-destruction failed. The jackal coughed up blood, his spiritual power gone, and the flying knives dropped like flies. He hadn't been killed, but his cultivation would plummet to the golden core stage. If he was lucky, the jackal looked deflated, knowing he was done for. He knew Zhao Mu would torture him if he had the chance. Zhao Mu grabbed the jackal demon cultivator by the neck, ready to get answers, but then, a rock came out of nowhere, zipping through the jackal demon cultivator's left temple and out the right, spraying brain matter everywhere, nearly hitting Zhao Mu. "Who's there?" Zhao Mu, shocked, took off after the rock, but found nothing. That person was strong, a real pro. "Honey, are you okay?" Miaoyin rushed over, worried. Shengyuan frowned, glancing at the jackal demon cultivator's corpse with a troubled look. "Kid, things aren't looking good for you. At least the demons seem to be fighting amongst themselves. Some want you alive, others want you dead. You're probably safe until they sort things out." Zhao Mu's eyes turned cold. Simple. Friends get good wine, enemies get a beating. Shengyuan was taken aback, before saying, "I waste my time worrying. A pain in the ass like you is probably immortal." Zhao Mu waved a hand, calling back the 108 flying knives. These things were interesting. Each one was its own magic weapon, and not cheap ones either, at least 5th grade. The power boost from the array aside, just getting 108 free 5th grade magic weapons was a steal, and with the original owner dead and gone, their soul destroyed, the knives were up for grabs. Zhao Mu just needed to reforge them to make them his own. He'd have to clean off that poison, though. No idea where it came from. It'd be bad if he accidentally poisoned himself. If he was gonna use poison, he'd make his own. Zhao Mu searched the jackal's body again, but found nothing else. The guy must have been planning a suicide mission, leaving nothing that could reveal his identity. Shaking his head, Zhao Mu burned the body to ashes. Time to get back to the hunt. Before long, the area around the demon temple started getting crowded. Kong Miaoyin, Long Tianxiang, Xiao Wugui, and a few other demon cultivators flew in. From all directions, ready for the final showdown. Zhao Mu took a look and felt underwhelmed. Within 10 miles, it was just him, Shengyuan, and a horde of demons. Then, a mechanical elephant came lumbering through the air. "What's with the elephant?" Zhao Mu said with a strange look. He squinted, realizing the elephant had no life signs. It was just a puppet. On its back sat a skinny kid. The kid was pretty, with red lips, white teeth, and sparkling eyes. But he had an androgynous look. He spotted Zhao Mu's group, beamed, and steered the elephant over. "Sis Lan, I didn't expect to see you here." The kid hopped off the elephant, grinning from ear to ear. Up close, Zhao Mu realized the kid was too pretty. Unlike Zhao Mu, who radiated masculine charm, this kid had a softer, more delicate appeal, the kind that made older women swoon. Between his looks, the mechanical elephant, and knowing Miaoyin, his identity was obvious. This was Xiangying, the puppetry prodigy from Shengyuan Demon Sect. Chapter 73. Left elephant eagle bows his head. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sudden appearance of Xiangying caught Miaoyin completely off guard. "Zwa, remember to call me junior sister when we're at the sect," she said, instinctively stepping back to stand closer to Zhao Mu. Xiangying frowned, a strange look crossing his face as he turned his attention to Zhao Mu. "So you're Zhao Mu, the human genius who sent Han Rong running back home, huh? What's your deal with Lan?" His tone was deceptively gentle, but the hostility was undeniable. This guy's got a serious thing for Miaoyin. Thinks I'm the competition, does he? He's in for a letdown. Zhao Mu pulled Miaoyin into his arms. "She's my girl. What do you think about that?" Miaoyin was stunned, then a wave of warmth washed over her. Zhao Mu was completely claiming her. She was thrilled, but Xiangying looked like he was about to crush his fist. "What did you say?" "Say it again." His voice cracked, loud enough to draw the attention of Kong Miaoyin and Long Tianxiang. Still not getting it. Zhao Mu turned, cupped Miaoyin's face, and kissed her, making sure Xiangying got a good look. Xiangying's eyes went wide. He wouldn't. Why isn't Lan stopping him? Could it be? He staggered back, clutching his chest, visibly shaken. Then, his face hardened, and he conjured a swarm of tiny, black insects out of thin air, machine goo insects, created using puppet techniques. Thousands of them swirled like a dark cloud, descending on Zhao Mu. Stop! A voice cut through the air, the word carried terrifying force, instantly grounding the insects and forcing Zhao Xiangyin to his knees. He seethed with rage, but when he saw who had spoken, he fell silent. It was Kong Miaoyin. Within the Shengyuan Demon Sect, Zhao Xiangyin only feared two people, Empress Qingyun and Kong Miaoyin. He might be proud of his unique puppetry skills, but he knew they were useless against raw power. Zhao, do you know what you've done? Kong Miaoyin's voice was glacial. Zhao Xiangyin felt like he'd been plunged into freezing water. He didn't understand why Kong Miaoyin was protecting Zhao Mu, but he wouldn't dare question her directly. Junior brother knows he messed up. Please forgive me, senior sister Kong, he choked out. I'm not the one you need to apologize to, Kong Miaoyin said. Zhao Xiangyin looked up at Zhao Mu, who was still kissing Niu Yulan, swallowing his anger. Zhao Xiangyin rose, stepped forward, and bowed deeply. Zhao, I was out of line. Please forgive me, senior brother Zhao. After a long pause, Zhao Mu and Niu Yulan broke apart. Niu Yulan was mortified, especially with Kong Miaoyin watching. Her face burned as she kept her eyes down. Zhao Mu simply glanced at Zhao Xiangyin. Since senior sister Kong's putting in a good word for you, we'll pretend this never happened. But stay away from Yulan. If I see you looking at her again, I'll gouge your eyes out. I mean it. It was harsh, and even Kong Miaoyin frowned slightly, but she didn't say anything. Zhao Xiangyin nearly exploded with rage, but seeing Kong Miaoyin's stance, he knew he was beaten. He activated his disciple badge to end the hunt early and escape the World of Warcraft's secret realm. Thanks for saving me, senior sister Kong, Zhao Mu said, bowing. Kong Miaoyin gave him a meaningful look. Don't disappoint me. Then, she vanished in a flash of light, ending her own hunt and leaving the secret realm. Zhao Mu felt a little uneasy. He checked his system interface and saw that Kong Miaoyin's favorability toward him had plummeted to 0. That was a first. Can it go negative? He was suddenly curious. Maybe I should try to piss her off next time. As he was about to resume hunting, a golden streak flashed across the sky. It was Long Tianxiang. Zhao Mu wasn't surprised. He hadn't expected Long Tianxiang to seek him out, but it wasn't totally unexpected. They'd crossed paths before, but this was their first official meeting. Long Tianxiang, clad in gold, radiated a sharp, solitary strength. His eyes were arrogant, as if he viewed everyone else as insects. I apologize for the law enforcement hall. Han Rong acted without my authorization. He cut right to the chase. It was surprisingly direct, considering his status. Zhao Mu smiled. That's big of you, Long. We'll settle things one at a time. I'm putting the law enforcement hall on Han Rong's tab. As for Niu Ao's sword, we'll have plenty of chances to settle that later. I'm counting on it. Long Tianxiang looked eager for a fight. He seemed ready to challenge Zhao Mu right then and there if he wasn't holding back. He's just like the rumors say, a total war junkie. Weird. Shouldn't castration chill a guy out? After their meeting, Long Tianxiang also cut his hunt short and left. Give up. Zhao Mu glanced at the standings. With Kong Miaoyin and Long Tianxiang gone, he was in first place. If he gave half his points to Niu Yulan, they could take second and third. The other disciples were too far behind to catch up in the few hours that remained. Forget it. It's almost over anyway. With a wave, he transferred half his points to Niu Yulan, boosting her to third place. Xing Ziyue watched him. I've been with you for days, helping you find all those potions. How about some points for me? Zhao Mu tossed her the Xianyang red gold fruit. Will this shut you up? Xing Ziyue was stunned. Did he just give me a precious medicine? This damn rich kid. Chapter 74 Emperor Yan's Blood Marrow Fruit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding! You gifted Xing Ziyue the first-grade treasure, Xianyang red gold fruit, triggering a 10,000-fold return. You received the 8th grade treasure, Yendi blood marrow fruit, ***, Zhao Mu's jaw dropped, a 10,000-fold return. Seriously? That 1st grade treasure just turned into an 8th grade one. Talk about a value jump. Treasure medicines were as rare as hen's teeth. The whole Shengyuan Demon Sect probably didn't have 10 of them, and if they did, they'd be low-grade stuff, an 8th grade treasure. Even with the Demon Sect's resources, they probably couldn't cough one up. Zhao Mu fought the urge to whip out the Yendi blood marrow fruit right then and there. He said, "Don't get all mushy on me. You're my girl now, and I take care of my own. But hey, if you're not feeling it, you can always give the Xianyang red gold fruit back." Sure, the Xianyang red gold fruit was chump change compared to the Yendi blood marrow fruit, but who says no to extra treasure medicines? Xing Ziyue clutched the Xianyang red gold fruit to her chest, carefully stashing it away. "It's yours now. No take-backs. I don't do return to sender." Yeah, like feeding steak to a wolf, once it's gone, it's gone. Zhao Mu glanced at the system interface. Xing Ziyue's favorability shot up 10 points, landing at a solid 70. Score. Like I'd try to scam you. Without missing a beat, Zhao Mu grabbed his disciple badge to activate it. Next thing he knew, he was blinked out of the Warcraft secret realm. Miaoyin and Xing Ziyue were right behind him. Half the Demon Sect disciples who signed up for the hunting day were milling around in the valley. Looks like a lot of people tapped out early. Before Zhao Mu could even get his bearings, the 3 elders beelined for him. "Zhao Mu, you killed it out there. Never thought you'd outshine Kong Miaoyin. You really brought home the bacon for the humans. Too bad you gave away half your points. Otherwise, you would have snagged the top spot on the hunting day leaderboard, no question." Zhao Mu kept quiet, but Miaoyin went all sheepish. She mumbled, "Han. Zhao Mu, maybe I shouldn't have taken the points. I can give them back so you can win first place." "Nah." Zhao Mu waved his hand. "I said I'd give them to you, didn't I? Besides, we locked in 2nd and 3rd place, which means we get another slot to raid the sect's treasure vault. Win-win, right?" Catching on to Zhao Mu's angle, the elders chuckled, complimenting him on his cleverness. Seriously, 1st place was just for bragging rights. The top 3 got practically the same rewards. If Zhao Mu hadn't done what he did, Long Tianxiang would have snagged 3rd. The kid was definitely playing games with Long Tianxiang, but what was the deal between Zhao Mu and this Demon Bull clan chick? Why did they seem so tight? The elders were a little uneasy. They weren't old-school traditionalists, but Zhao Mu, being a human prodigy, was sure to have blue ribbon blood. It'd be best if he hooked up with a human woman with top-tier DNA to keep the good bloodline going. That was the play, but this wasn't the time to get into it. They'd wait until the hunting day was a wrap and have a little chat with the kid. "Oh, master, I gotta tell you something." Zhao Mu filled the elders in on Zhao Qiuyan and asked them to give her a hand and teleport her out of the secret realm. "So, you're saying you found this pale, liquid medicine that can undo the Warcraft mutation and turn them back into humans?" Zhou Xiliang, Fan Deng, and Dugu Zhan were all floored. That was earth-shattering news. If it was the real deal, then that medicine could be a game-changer in controlling the spread of the tainted aura. Zhao Mu nodded. "Once you meet Zhao Qiuyan, you'll see I'm not making this up." The elders traded glances. "Alright," but with that, they vanished, probably teleporting into the secret realm. A little later, Zhao Qiuyan and Su Yang were zapped out of the Warcraft secret realm. Zhao Qiuyan seemed overwhelmed by the crowd, looking timid and flustered. "Sis Yun, chill. The Shengyuan Demon Sect might be called the Demon Sect, but we're not out to hurt anyone. You can trust my masters. They'll ask you a few questions. Answer, and you're golden." Zhao Mu reassured her. After hearing Zhao Mu's words, Zhao Qiuyan calmed down a bit. Then came the interrogation. Zhao Mu stayed close by and listened in. The masters mostly asked about Zhao Qiuyan's past, confirming that she was born 8,000 years ago. Then, they asked Zhao Mu for some of that pale liquid. And that was that. After that, Zhao Mu dug out another star stone, hoping the elders could ID it, but after checking it out, they didn't see anything special. The star stone didn't have much spiritual juice, just a regular ore, not worth much. No way, Zhao Mu thought. All that effort for a worthless rock. Even so, Zhao Mu had a hunch that the star stone had something going on, whatever. He'd hold on to it. Then, Zhao Mu had Xing Ziyue bring out the Xianyang red gold fruit and asked Elder Fan Deng to check it out. Fan Deng was all over the moon when he heard that Zhao Mu and his crew had found a treasure medicine in the secret realm. He flipped through an ancient book and found some drawings of it. Turns out, the Xianyang red gold fruit was jam-packed with yang energy. If you brewed it into a pill, it could add 100 years to a spiritual transformation realm cultivator's lifespan. That was the real deal. It could fetch a king's ransom on the open market. Still, Zhao Mu was glad to hear that the Xianyang red gold fruit was useless to him. With his situation, now or down the road, he would not be worried about lifespan. Master, can I borrow that treasure medicine illustration? Zhao Mu asked. He wanted to see if there was any info on the Yan Emperor blood marrow fruit in there. Fan Deng was more than happy to give the illustration to Zhao Mu. Thanks, Master. Half a day later, the hunting day was officially a wrap. The Saint Son and Saint Daughter read out the point rankings. No surprises there. Top 3 were Kong Miaoyin, Zhao Mu, and Niu Yulan, and Zishuan gave Zhao Mu a nod, seeming pretty stoked with the result. Once we get back to the sect, I'll lead you to the sect treasury and let you each pick something you like. Senior Sister Kong gets first dibs. And Zishuan said, still treating Kong Miaoyin with extra respect. Kong Miaoyin just smiled. Zishuan, you've snagged yourself a good disciple. Senior Sister, you're too kind. Zhao Mu's still wet behind the ears and quick to lose his cool. If he's been out of line, I hope you can cut him some slack. Chapter 75 Sect Treasure House. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the way back to the Holy Yuan Demon Sect, Zhao Mu felt way more hostile vibes than before. Almost every demon clan disciple glared at him, some even openly showing murderous intent. If the elders weren't keeping order, things might have gone south fast. Word had definitely spread that Zhao Mu snatched the top 3 spots from Long Tianxiang and smackdowns with Xiangying. Humans and monsters alike, they all have their pride. The demon tribe used to dominate everything, with Long Tianxiang, Han Rong, and Zhou Xiangying as their star players, but now, this Zhao Mu guy humiliated those 3, which the demon sect's demon disciples took as a personal insult. You could say Zhao Mu was a real thorn in their side. Right now, 3 elders and a saint are protecting Zhao Mu, and Empress Qingyun has spoken up for him, so these demon disciples are forced to hold back. But how long can they keep a lid on it? Nobody knows for sure. Plus, there are other shadowy forces trying to get Zhao Mu's attention, like that jackal assassin from the secret realm. Still a mystery, but Zhao Mu suspects he's not with the Shengyuan Demon Sect. He probably belongs to some group outside the sect that's gunning for Long Tianxiang. The demon clan's different from humans. They're divided into too many groups, always fighting among themselves. They're not as unified as humans. If Zhao Mu could use that to his advantage, maybe he could wiggle out of this mess. Kong Miaoyin seems like the best angle, but Zhao Mu needs to think this through first. Back at the demon sect, Xing Ziyue went back to the blood battle hall with Dugu. Zhao Mu took Niu Yulan and went to the sect's treasure vault with Kong Miaoyin. The treasure vault's in the core Holy Land, the most legendary spot in the Holy Yuan Demon Sect. Zhao Mu's only heard about it, never seen it. Today's his lucky day. After passing through the inner gate, they flew for a bit before hitting the edge of the core Holy Land. In the distance, a massive palace floated above the clouds, a cloud-top palace, all solemn and imposing. The palace was circled by mountains floating in the air, each peak as sharp as a knife. Zhao Mu felt his blood pumping, like he'd arrived at some god's immortal palace. Up ahead's the Holy Land. In the center, that's the Holy Yuan Palace, where Empress Qingyun trains. It's off limits. Even I've only been inside once, on the day I became a disciple, and Zishuan said, with a hint of longing in her eyes. Kong Miaoyin's beautiful eyes sparkled. The Empress has been in seclusion for 1,000 years, and she's only shown up maybe 10 times. I try to be diligent, but I'm still lazy compared to her. Once I take over as head of the family, I'll be too busy to train. They say power's great, but if I could, I'd rather just train in peace and chase immortality. A powerful person's got great wisdom, great understanding, and great perseverance. All the top dogs in the world are like that. Sooner or later, Master will rise to the top of the sect and become one of the most powerful people in the Shenwu continent. And Zixuan was sincere. She thought Empress Qingyun was the most promising of the younger generation to become a new supreme power. Supreme. I wouldn't dare dream that big. But I think Zhao Mu's got a shot, Kong Miaoyin suddenly said, turning the spotlight on Zhao Mu. Zhao Mu touched his nose and chuckled, "What's this little peacock up to, trying to get me killed? Or does she really think that?" It shouldn't be hard for Zhao Mu, with his human emperor blood, to become a supreme powerhouse. But Kong Miaoyin doesn't know that. Where's her confidence coming from? While he was thinking, Zixuan led them to the entrance of the treasure vault. The vault's inside a hollowed-out mountain in the ringed mountain range outside Shengyuan Palace, security's tight, with puppet guardians patrolling everywhere. The gatekeeper might look old and gray, but his aura's terrifying. The sect's treasure vault contains 8,000 years of the Demon Sect secrets. There are countless treasures inside, and their value is beyond measure. Most can be bought with sect merits, but some are only available as special rewards. The annual hunting day reward lets you trade for things you can't get with merits. Senior Sister Kong, you can go first. Kong Miaoyin nodded, swiped her disciple badge on the stone tablet at the entrance, and teleported inside. Zhao Mu and Niu Yulan waited outside. Zhao Mu said, "Someone with Senior Sister Kong's status wouldn't be interested in ordinary treasures. She came here specifically for the hunting day. She must have something specific in mind." And Zixuan said, "The Immortal King Peacock clan's foundation is as solid as the Shengyuan Demon Sects. Their history is even longer, going back to the early days of the Shenwu continent. They're one of the oldest clans. Once Kong Miaoyin takes over, her power will be even greater than Empress Qingyun's." Zhao Mu was shocked. He didn't realize this little peacock had so much juice. Too bad her favorability's 0. If he could bind her as a return target and give her 100 points of favorability, then this ancient fairy king peacock clan would be his. Maybe he should work on Zixuan's favorability first. Zhao Mu pulled a flower from his storage ring. It was a 7th grade spiritual medicine he got in the secret realm's underground cave called Lan Shui Fanghua. It's the main ingredient for a top-grade anti-aging pill, and it's rare as hen's teeth. Zhao Mu handed it to Zixuan, and Zixuan didn't take it. She frowned slightly. "What are you up to, trying to butter up your master?" Zhao Mu smiled. "I don't know what good stuff's in the treasure vault. If I pick randomly, I might waste this chance. I need your advice, master. This guy's got a trick for everything." Ding, you give Zixuan a 7th grade elixir, triggering a 100-fold return, and get the 7th grade elixir by Xueqin Lan. Ding, Zixuan's favorability +1. Zixuan took Lan Shui Fanghua and said, "Even though you have a holy body, it's not perfect. Get a 10th grade elixir, Shenghua Dan. It'll help you strengthen your body and make your holy body even better." Niu Yulan jumped in. "Saint Lady, I want to pick something for my brother Zhao Mu too. What do you recommend?" Zixuan looked at Niu Yulan in surprise. Did Zhao Mu brainwash this girl? Giving up such a rare chance to find something for herself. "Since you're so generous, go grab a heaven-level fire-type technique. You can both train in it, and everyone wins." Chapter 76: A Rich Harvest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after, Kong Miaoyin emerged from the treasure vault, moving with impressive speed. Just as Zhao Mu suspected, she'd clearly had her eye on something specific. Wonder what caught the fancy of someone like her, an heir of the Immortal King Peacock clan. Gotta run. In a couple of days, I'm throwing a banquet for all the big shots at my Mingwang Cave mansion. My top disciples will be there, along with some rising stars from the 10,000 Monsters Forest clans. Here's your invite, junior brother Zhao. Don't miss it. Zhao Mu accepted the invitation, nodding. Senior Sister Kong, how could I refuse? I'll be there. And Zishuan watched Kong Miaoyin depart, muttering, power changes people. Kong Miaoyin was a real terror back in the demon sect, but now she's smoothed out around the edges. Though you can still see that arrogance shining through. Zhao Mu smiled, wisely keeping his thoughts to himself. He then swiped his disciple badge on the stone tablet and teleported into the treasure vault. The interior was vast and dazzling, overflowing with spiritual energy. Countless treasures were neatly displayed on shelves, protected by intricate mechanisms and formations. Zhao Mu was overwhelmed. If he hadn't already chosen what he wanted, picking something useful would be like finding a needle in a haystack. Man, I wish I could just take this whole place. Zhao Mu couldn't help but mutter. Hey, kid, don't tempt me. It's not impossible to get your hands on this vault, though. Just gotta marry Empress Qingyun, and the entire Shengyuan Demon Sect will be yours. The old man guarding the door chuckled from behind Zhao Mu. Zhao Mu turned around, grinning. Senior, that sounds like a plan. Why don't you put in a good word for me with Empress Qingyun? If it works out, you get half the vault. Hey, you little rascal, you think I'm deaf? I've got connections, but rarely do I meet a young man as brazen as you. The old man huffed, waving his hand dismissively. What do you need? Hurry up and tell me. Zhao Mu smiled. I'm looking for a 10th grade Shenghua pill. Right side, 9th shelf. Find it yourself. Got it. Zhao Mu found the pills and, after showing his badge, a holy huadan floated into his hand. The next moment, he was teleported back out of the vault. Next up was Ox Magnolia. She moved fast too, soon emerging with a heaven-level technique, a low-grade heaven-level. Bahuang Lihua Ju. Niu Yulan eagerly handed it to Zhao Mu, eyes sparkling. Junior brother, take this and practice it. I'm not in a hurry. Give it back when you're done, and maybe you can give me some pointers then. Zhao Mu nodded, saying goodbye to Zishuan, ready to head back, and Zishuan suddenly tossed a token to Zhao Mu. Master, what's this? Zhao Mu asked. I got you a cave. The layout's done, and you can move in. It's located near Formation Valley, Medicine King Valley, and the Bloody Battle Hall. Having a permanent place will make getting around easier. Zhao Mu was thrilled. Thank you, master. Go on now. Then, she secretly sent him a message. I've arranged for Lei and Yuan to take care of your food, clothing, and daily life. I won't interfere with your free time, but I expect an hour of your time every night. Well, the cave's just an excuse. She wants easier access to the scriptures, whatever, I can handle it, saying goodbye to Zishuan, Zhao Mu left the sect's holy land with Niu Yulan, heading for his new digs. Soon, Zhao Mu arrived at the entrance of the cave, nestled in a lush mountain forest with towering trees hundreds of feet tall. The scenery was magnificent and refreshing. The entrance was halfway up the mountain, unassuming, but once Zhao Mu entered with the token, he discovered a vast space, a cave within a cave. The interior spanned thousands of square meters, arranged on different levels around the roots of a giant tree. The bottom level was the living area, complete with a clear stream and spiritual fields planted with melons and fruits. The middle level had numerous guest rooms and a large area suitable for banquets, even a stage for inviting friends and listening to music. The top level was smaller, Zhao Mu's private space. There was a luxurious courtyard with bright light, exquisite furnishings, and a spiritual spring constantly emitting spiritual mist. The energy there was rich and inexhaustible. Clearly, this was a high-end cave, probably beyond what most direct disciples could hope for, and Zishuan definitely pulled some strings to get it, going all out. It's a perk of increased favorability. Zhao Mu saw that Zishuan's favorability was now at 67 points. For her, that's probably pretty high. Gotta keep working on it. Pick a room and settle in, Zhao Mu told Niu Yulan. Niu Yulan looked happy but hesitated. Honey, I need to go home for a while. I won't be able to visit as often. Oh. What's wrong? When I came back from hunting, someone from my tribe told me my mother's not well. I have to leave the demon sect and go back to see her. That's important. You should go home right away. I've got some potent healing pills and spiritual medicine. Take them with you. It's the least I can do. Don't refuse. Deeply touched, Miaoyin nodded, took the pills, and left reluctantly. Used to having company, Zhao Mu felt a little lonely. The pills were a return reward, so they didn't trigger another. However, the spiritual medicine did trigger a return, but the multiplier wasn't great. That's not the point. Zhao Mu closed the cave door, went back to the courtyard, and took out a blood-red fruit, the 8th grade precious medicine, Emperor Yan's blood marrow fruit. Instead of eating it, he pulled out the illustration book that Fan Deng gave him and looked it up. He actually found the description. Emperor Yan's blood marrow fruit. Legend says this fruit grew from the blood of Emperor Yan, shed on earth and infused with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Ordinary people will burn to death if they eat it. Only practitioners with a supremely young constitution and fire spiritual roots can take it. The medicine is too potent, it can only be suppressed and relieved with 10,000 years of ice. Chapter 77 Kong Miaoyin's Ambition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fire spiritual root and yang constitution. Seriously? That's practically custom-made for Zhao Mu. But, hey, it's still a grade 8 treasure. The potency's gotta be intense, so he couldn't just wolf it down. Zhao Mu thought about it, pulled out a knife, and sliced the Yan Emperor blood marrow fruit into 8 bite-sized pieces. He popped one in his mouth and started absorbing its power. Whoa, spicy. This Yan Emperor blood marrow fruit was seriously hot and addictive. In seconds, Zhao Mu's face was beet red, and he was dripping sweat. Okay, the power is definitely off the charts. Zhao Mu fought to keep it under control and began refining the medicine. The fiery power surged through him. Zhao Mu felt like he was trapped in a furnace. The burning sensation was so intense, his skin started cracking, turning crispy and charred. No wonder ordinary people couldn't handle this stuff. A taste would probably incinerate them. Zhao Mu's red yang holy body kicked into overdrive, greedily soaking up every bit of power from the Yan Emperor blood marrow fruit. After a full day, the medicine was completely digested. Zhao Mu took a deep breath and slowly opened his eyes. First thing he saw, the cat-girl twins kneeling in front of him, staring intently. Junior brother, you're finally done. We've been waiting to give our report. He almost forgot about them. Zhao Mu nodded. Let's get this over with. Since he was in a rush, Zhao Mu skipped the usual foreplay with the sisters. The whole thing was done in an hour. Less than 15 minutes later, Zhao Mu got a system notification. Ding! You gave in Zishuan the red sun liquid, triggering a 1,000-fold return. 50 years of red sun saint body cultivation successfully cultivated. And Zishuan's favor +1. With 50 years of power flooding his system, Zhao Mu instantly felt a lot better. Because he'd absorbed so much power from the Yan Emperor blood marrow fruit, he'd felt bloated and uncomfortable, but that feeling vanished. The medicinal power was completely absorbed without any waste. This was a killer combo. First, refine the Yan Emperor blood marrow fruit, then use the red sun holy body training return to fully digest it. Perfect, total win. Zhao Mu was about to keep refining the Yan Emperor blood marrow fruit when he realized it was almost time for Kong Miaoyin's banquet. After some thought, he decided to go. It was just a formality, wouldn't take up too much time. Plus, Zhao Mu wanted to see what this Kong Miaoyin was up to. Leaving his cave, Zhao Mu followed the directions on the invitation, heading straight to Kong Miaoyin's Mingwang Cave. Mingwang Cave was located close to the sect's core, in the middle of a gorgeous lake. Night had fallen, and the lake was sparkling with lights as disciples gathered. Zhao Mu, a familiar voice called out. Chu Jiaran came over, all dressed up, her walk still as seductive as ever. Daji was practically innocent compared to her. What do you want, senior sister Chu? Zhao Mu's expression was cool. Zhao Mu didn't have much love for the woman who'd used him for fun. Chu Jiaran noticed the rejection in his voice and looked hurt. I know I messed up. Can't we try again? Try what? More bad luck. Zhao Mu said flatly, just leave me alone. I don't want to see you again. Zhao Mu started to walk away, but Chu Jiaran grabbed his arm. I really am sorry. Please, just give me another chance. I'll do anything you want, whatever it takes. Let go. I'm not saying it again. Zhao Mu shoved Chu Jiaran away and kept walking. Tears streamed down Chu Jiaran's face, and she seethed, damn Zhao Mu. How could he be so cruel after all she'd offered? What goes around comes around. Just wait and see. Wiping her tears, Chu Jiaran turned and left, never returning to the Shengyuan Demon Sect, Mingwang Cave. When Zhao Mu arrived, the banquet was just starting. He looked around, almost every disciple was here. It was a grand affair, but most of them were demons, and only a few were humans. Zhao Mu's arrival was noticed, anger, hostility, death glares. Zhao Mu didn't see a single friendly face. He touched his nose. Guess he wasn't exactly welcome. Everyone's here. Please, take a seat. Kong Miaoyin appeared and said. Zhao Mu was seated with a few other human disciples. He'd never met them before, but they seemed to know him well and praised him throughout the meal. After a few drinks, Kong Miaoyin spoke up. Thank you all for coming. Besides catching up, I have an important announcement. Everyone put down their drinks and gave her their full attention. Zhao Mu figured this banquet had a purpose. Time to listen. Kong Miaoyin was beaming. You all know I'm about to inherit the position of leader of the immortal King Peacock clan. I'm grateful for the love of my ancestors, and it's the culmination of my own hard work. Now that I'm in charge, I have to take action to prove that I'm up to the task. But I'm young, and it's hard to convince the elders. Many of you are from powerful families within the 10,000 monsters forest. You're as young as I am, so you must have faced similar difficulties. As the younger generation, we want to prove ourselves, but we lack the experience to sway our elders. Today it is me, and tomorrow it may be you. I know there are many successors from different tribes and clans present here today. So why don't we form an alliance, join forces, and learn from each other to expand our power? The demon race has been fractured for far too long. Different clans and tribes have always been at odds, with grudges passed down through generations, but those are problems of the older generation. The younger generation shouldn't be bound by those prejudices. Only the younger generation can unite and transform the demon race. Kong Miaoyin paused, looking at everyone. Today, I'm initiating a new journey and creating the 100 Demons Alliance. I invite people of all races to join. There are no limitations. Anyone who wants to innovate the demon race can join the alliance. What do you all think? Chapter 78 Stealing the House. You are listening at novelfull.audio. From the rise of the younger generation of demon cultivators comes a movement to unite scattered demon forces into a single entity, the 100 Demon Alliance. Zhao Mu hadn't expected Kong Miaoyin to have such grand ambitions. The reason the human and demon races can still compete is that the demon race lacks unity, riddled with infighting and factions, but if Kong Miaoyin succeeds in establishing the 100 Demon Alliance, it would pose a serious threat to humanity. Individually, the demon race has already been pushing the human race back, losing territory. If they unite, it could spell disaster for humans. Looking at Kong Miaoyin, vibrant and full of energy, Zhao Mu felt a sense of impending doom. He finally understood why Kong Miaoyin had invited him to the dinner. The creation of the 100 Demon Alliance and the recruitment of new demon talent had nothing to do with him, the human genius, yet she still extended an invitation. It was clearly an intimidation tactic aimed at Zhao Mu, a rising star among humans. She wanted to crush his courage and confidence to fight the demon race at its root. Such a ruthless method. Zhao Mu knew he had to take Kong Miaoyin seriously. This clever young woman might not have the strength to lead the entire demon race right now, but with her continued growth, she would one day become a force to be reckoned with, and one day, her decisions could determine the fate of humanity. Wow, the crowd erupted in applause. The demon geniuses present cheered enthusiastically. Sister Kong is right. Our demon race could be so much stronger. We can't let old rivalries stand in our way. Breaking down those barriers is the only way for the demon race to achieve true prosperity and power. I'm willing to join the 100 Demon Alliance and follow Sister Kong's lead. I'm with Sister Kong. Just say the word, Sister Kong, and I'll risk my life. The attitudes of the demon geniuses made it clear how much influence Kong Miaoyin wielded. The establishment of the 100 Demon Alliance seemed inevitable. It might seem small now, but when Kong Miaoyin inherits the leadership of the immortal King Peacock clan, the 100 Demon Alliance would undoubtedly gain prominence within the demon race, expand its influence, and attract even more talented young demons. 100 years from now, it could become a major force within the demon race, a strong chain that binds all the major demon factions together. Zhao Mu frowned. The other human disciples looked even paler. They weren't stupid, they knew how devastating the 100 Demon Alliance would be to humanity if it succeeded. The very existence of the 100 Demon Alliance could make life even harder for humans. At that moment, Kong Miaoyin approached Zhao Mu and the others. Junior brother Zhao, what do you think of my 100 Demon Alliance? Zhao Mu stood up and said, Junior sister Kong, your talent and charisma are impressive. Then, are you interested in joining the 100 Demon Alliance? Kong Miaoyin's words were shocking. Zhao Mu wasn't the only one who was stunned. Even the excited demons looked at Kong Miaoyin in disbelief. They couldn't understand why Kong Miaoyin would invite Zhao Mu, a human. How could a human join the 100 Demon Alliance? It was like inviting a wolf into the henhouse. Zhao Mu frowned, equally perplexed by Kong Miaoyin's actions. Why would she invite him? Many thoughts raced through Zhao Mu's mind, but he dismissed them one by one. He couldn't think of any logical reason. The only explanation he could think of was that Kong Miaoyin was messing with him, but that didn't fit Kong Miaoyin's personality, unless she was deliberately targeting him. Thinking about it, Zhao Mu said, Senior sister Kong, you're joking. I'm a human, and no matter what position I held, I wouldn't fit into the 100 Demon Alliance. But I appreciate the invitation. Kong Miaoyin wasn't surprised by Zhao Mu's refusal. In fact, it was the expected outcome. If Zhao Mu had agreed, she would have been shocked. That's okay. We're all disciples of the Demon Sect, we share a connection. Even if we go our separate ways in the future, that will never change. The 100 Demon Alliance is always open to my fellow disciples. With that, Kong Miaoyin excused herself to discuss further matters with other demon geniuses. Zhao Mu and his companions knew what to do and left the Mingwang cave mansion. As soon as they exited, a human prodigy stomped his foot and said, That's too much. What's Kong Miaoyin trying to pull? Is she deliberately trying to intimidate us? Either way, the 100 Demon Alliance will be bad news for humans. I need to find a way to plant some spies to get some intel. The speaker was a bookish young man. Zhao Mu had learned his name was Zhuge Ju, a member of the Zhuge family, a well-known family among humans. The one who stomped his feet was called Chen Bufan, seemingly a prince of a secular dynasty. He was so obsessed with cultivation that he gave up inheriting the throne and went into hiding in the 10,000 Demons forest. By chance, he joined the Shengyuan Demon Sect. There was also a girl who had remained silent, named Shi Rui. Hearing Zhuge Ju's words, she immediately shook her head and said, Don't be rash. Kong Miaoyin is powerful, and I noticed there's an old man always following her. His cultivation is unfathomable. I'm afraid he's a powerful figure from the immortal King Peacock clan. Any wrong move, and we'll be caught. Someone could be listening to us right now. Zhuge Ju sighed and gave up. Chen Bufan, annoyed, said, This is really frustrating. I'm going back to meditate first. See you guys later. Then, he flew away on his sword. Zhuge Ju said, I'm going back to meditate too. Goodbye. As soon as they left, Zhao Mu and Shi Rui were alone. Zhao Mu was about to say goodbye and return to his cave to refine the Yen Emperor Blood Marrow fruit when Shi Rui said, Junior brother Zhao, can I talk to you for a moment? Sure, where should we go? There's a quiet bamboo forest nearby, how about a walk there? Okay. With no rush to cultivate, Zhao Mu wanted to hear what Shi Rui had to say. He hadn't paid much attention to her earlier, but now that they were alone, Zhao Mu looked at her more closely and saw that, while Shi Rui wasn't strikingly beautiful, there was a unique charm about her that gave her a clean and pure vibe, which was quite pleasant. Soon, the two flew to a quiet bamboo forest on their swords. The moon hung over the bamboo. The evening breeze was cool, and it was nice to walk through the forest and listen to the insects chirping. Junior brother Zhao, I wanted to ask you something, Shengyuan said, sounding nervous. You can tell me. I've been through a lot, I don't get scared easily, Zhao Mu said with a laugh, easing the tension. Then I'll get straight to the point. Shengyuan took a deep breath and asked, do you know about the great Zhou dynasty? Zhao Mu nodded and said, around the Zhao dynasty where I'm from, the great Zhou dynasty is the most powerful. Within the entire human territory, the great Zhou dynasty is a top-ranked secular dynasty, and its power is 100 times greater than that of my Zhao dynasty. Actually, I'm from the great Zhou dynasty, and right now the great Zhou dynasty is at war with the Zhao dynasty. The Zhao dynasty might fall at any moment. What? Zhao Mu was shocked. He had only been in the demon sect for a little over a year, and his homeland was about to be conquered. Chapter 79 Returning Home. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In fact, after meeting Zhao Qiuyun, Zhao Mu started seriously thinking about going home, not because he was homesick, really. Being a time traveler, he didn't exactly have a deep connection to the Zhao dynasty, mostly, he just missed his soon-to-be little princess, but now, Shengyuan drops a bombshell, the Zhao country might be on the verge of collapse. Zhao Mu was understandably shocked. You sure about that? Shengyuan explained, I just got the news. My sister's the queen of the Zhou dynasty, and she sent me a letter a few days ago. Said the emperor's gone off the deep end, completely lost it. He's raising an army to attack neighboring countries, kidnapping young kids, claiming he needs them to brew some immortality potion. I was planning on heading home today, but I heard you were from the Zhao kingdom, Zhao. Figured I'd let you know, see if you wanted to hitch a ride back with me. Zhao Mu immediately realized this was serious. He still had Zhao blood running through his veins, he couldn't just ignore a family crisis, he'd been planning on taking Zhao Qiuyun back home after things settled down. Looks like that needed to happen sooner rather than later. No time to waste, let's go. Gotta swing by Medicine King Valley to pick someone up first. Shengyuan nodded. I need to hit up the puppet machine gate too, borrow a sky boat for the trip. Let's meet at the east gate. Sounds good. Zhao Mu, sword in hand, headed back to his cave, packed his gear, and said a quick goodbye to the Catwoman sisters, not wanting them to worry. They, of course, immediately ratted him out to Zishuan, and Zishuan, after hearing the news, didn't give him any grief, just told him to get going and come back safe. Next stop, Medicine King Valley, to find Zhao Qiuyun. She'd been feeling under the weather after leaving the secret realm of Warcraft and was recuperating there. Almost back to normal now. Hearing about the Zhao state's troubles, she got worried fast and agreed to head home with Zhao Mu immediately. Just as they were about to leave, Zhou Xiliang suddenly showed up, and he brought a surprise gift for Zhao Mu. Trailing behind Zhou Xiliang were 3 nascent soul demons. Ghost Clam, Pig Flea, and Bear Blind. Boss, the 3 big demons were practically bouncing off the walls with excitement at the sight of Zhao Mu. Zhao Mu was stoked and confused, asking Zhou Xiliang, Master, did you bust these guys out of the law enforcement hall? Zhou Xiliang said, well, these 3 are a little slow on the uptake, but they're Yuaning level and loyal to you. So, I may have facilitated their escape from the law enforcement hall dungeon. Consider it a light punishment to the law enforcement hall for misjudging them. I heard you were heading home, so I brought them along. Figured you might need some muscle. They weren't exactly fitting in here at the sect anyway, so I decided to give them an opportunity to get out. Thanks, Master. I'll take my leave. Zhou Xiliang reminded him, remember to be careful. Even though the secular world isn't as dangerous as the spiritual world, there are still plenty of heavy hitters hiding around. If you need to, drop the Shengyuan Demon Sect's name. It should scare some people. Zhou Xiliang then pulled out a pile of talismans and handed them to Zhao Mu. These are some talismans I made. Mostly lifesavers, divine movement, body protection, enchantments, teleportation. Not a whole lot, so use them sparingly. Zhou Xiliang had already given Zhao Mu tons of his prized talismans before, and now he's sending another pile. Zhao Mu was starting to feel a bit guilty, but hey, gotta take can't let master's kindness go to waste, right? After saying goodbye to Zhou Xiliang, Zhao Mu, Zhao Qiuyun, and Gue Ha set out for the east gate. On the way, Zhao Mu bound the 3 ghost clams as return objects. Honestly, the systems got it all wrong. Women get bound based on attraction, men based on loyalty. They're either spare parts or little brothers. Looks like I, Zhao Mu, am destined never to have a real friend in this life. The 3 were bound to Gue Ha because their loyalty was off the charts, all above 95. Easy to get to 100, and they wouldn't hog a slot for long. Afterwards, Zhao Mu took out 3 talismans and handed them to Gue Ha and the others. Using up his return slots for the day, Zhao Mu got 3 better talismans and boosted loyalty again. Win-win. He also gave Zhao Qiuyun a few life-saving talismans. She was immortal, no cultivation, so she needed something to keep her alive. Arriving at the east gate, Zhao Mu spotted a sky boat floating in the air. Sky boats were special magic weapons made using puppet mechanics. Combined puppet mechanics, formations, and weapon refining, they were super convenient for flying. Might not be faster than just flying on your sword, but way more stable and comfy. Plus, they could suck up spiritual energy from the air to power themselves. No need to drain your own energy. The Zhao state wasn't that far from Shengyuan Demon Sect. With a sky boat, it'd be a 2-day trip, tops. Once he got on board the sky boat, Zhao Mu realized the space wasn't huge. Could only comfortably fit 3 or 4 people. He, Shengyuan, and Zhao Qiuyun were doing alright, but with Geha and the other 3 crammed in, it would be a tight squeeze. Seeing this, Ghost Toad spoke up, "Boss, you take the seat. We 3 brothers can fly on our swords, and protect you, boss." Sounds good. Zhao Mu nodded. They were all at the nascent soul stage, so flying for 2 days straight wouldn't drain them too much. Besides, they'd been stuck in the law enforcement hall dungeon for 300 years. Probably needed to stretch their wings. Flying freely in the sky was probably a blessing for them. "Junior brother Zhao, you sure you can trust these guys?" Shengyuan looked a bit nervous. The 3 Gue Ha were demons, after all. They looked fierce and had a strong aura, not exactly the friendly type. Zhao Mu reassured him, "Don't worry, they'll do what I say. They won't stab me in the back." Gue Ha's loyalty was sitting at 96, and Xiong Xia and Zhu Zhao were at 99, practically begging to break 100. If they weren't trustworthy, then Zhao Mu didn't know who was. Hearing Zhao Mu say that, Shengyuan agreed to take the 3 demons with them. The sky boat shot into the sky, picked up speed, and headed east. Zhao Mu had no intention of wasting those 2 days of travel. He swallowed a piece of Yendi blood marrow fruit and started refining it. 2 days flew by. Zhao Mu accidentally broke through to the 7th level of Jindan. The Yendi blood marrow fruit was indeed a potent, 8th-grade treasure. At this rate, after he'd finished off the rest of the Yendi blood marrow fruit, his cultivation should hit peak Jindan. Maybe even break through to Yuanying soon. "Are we there yet?" Zhao Mu asked, opening his eyes, but he saw Shengyuan staring at him, a look of complete shock on his face. "Junior brother Zhao, you are a true genius. I can't even compare to you in the speed of training." Chapter 80. The Prince is in trouble. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shengyuan's words were heartfelt, not just flattery. She'd spent the last couple of days either chatting with Zhao Qiuyun or hitting the books, but the progress she'd made in that short time was pretty much nothing. She was already at the 3rd level of the nascent soul realm. Even if she was super talented, it would take her at least a couple of years to level up. If she hit a wall, it could easily take a decade to even make a small breakthrough, but Zhao Mu, even though he was only at the core formation realm, had somehow managed to level up in just 2 days. That was insane. Plus, Shengyuan knew Zhao Mu's backstory. She knew he'd been a low-level Qi training disciple not too long ago. To have built a foundation and formed a core so quickly. His training speed was off the charts. She'd seen plenty of geniuses before, and had even been considered one herself, but seeing Zhao Mu made her realize just how big the difference between people could be. "You're too kind, senior sister. I just got lucky with a few opportunities. You're the real deal, reaching nascent soul at such a young age." The human race might just have another female powerhouse in you, Zhao Mu said with a smile. Shengyuan chuckled, amused by his words. Junior brother, you're so smooth. I bet you use that line on all the girls. I know you're buttering me up, but it still makes me happy to hear it. And she meant it. Zhao Mu checked Shengyuan's favorability rating and saw it had jumped to 60, enough to bind the return object, but he wasn't in a rush. He didn't know Shengyuan that well yet. What if she was already hung up on someone? That would make things awkward. He needed to get to know her better before making any moves. For now, he'd just play it cool. Stepping off the airboat, Zhao Mu looked down and saw a massive ancient city sprawled across the plain. It was Wushuan City, the capital of Zhao State. Zhao wasn't exactly a world power, but it had been around for 20,000 years. Wushuan City had an even longer history, predating the state itself. Despite countless repairs and rebuilds, Wushuan City had always maintained its original appearance, giving it a palpable sense of history. Zhao had seen its fair share of wars. The capital had even been besieged a few times, but it had always managed to pull through. Of course, the reason for that was pretty simple. Zhao was just too poor, not in a starving refugees everywhere kind of way, but in a virtually no cultivation resources kind of way. No spiritual stone mines, no ancient ruins, no fertile land for growing spiritual herbs. Even the vast plain Zhao was built on had a lower concentration of spiritual energy than the surrounding countries, thanks to its oddly arranged underground spiritual veins, so, conquering Zhao just wasn't worth it. No one could get much loot out of it, even after a war. Over time, Zhao became like a flavorless chicken bone, too uninteresting to attract the attention of the bigger empires, but also too unappetizing to be entirely destroyed. But things seemed to be changing. This time, the great Zhou dynasty wasn't after money or resources. They wanted young boys and girls, and, as luck would have it, Zhao State had become a hot commodity because of its long period of peace and booming population. The war hadn't reached Wushuan City yet, but Zhao Mu had already seen signs of enemy troops on the way there. Some smaller cities had fallen, and refugees were starting to gather outside the capital. Good thing I got here when I did, Zhao Mu thought, relieved that Wushuan City was still holding. His fiancée, the little princess, should still be safe. As for his family, honestly, Zhao Mu wasn't too worried. He was a time traveler, after all. He didn't have any real attachment to his current family. Still, he'd definitely help out however he could. Boss, we just spotted a cavalry unit heading towards the capital. Not a lot of them, but they're all foundation-building cultivators. The regular army won't be able to stop them. Should we intercept? That the ghost clams suddenly swooped in, a cavalry unit made up entirely of foundation-building cultivators. Zhao Mu was surprised. Foundation-building cultivators weren't a threat to him, but to a normal country, they were practically invincible. Zhao's army wouldn't stand a chance. The Zhao royal family did have a few cultivators backing them, but they were all foundation-building level. Only the national teacher was at the Jindan realm. And they were outsiders, so they might not risk their lives fighting against the great Zhou dynasty. Zhao Mu turned to Shengyuan. Hey sure, does the great Zhou dynasty have cavalry units like that? Shengyuan looked surprised. The great Zhou is strong, but not strong enough to use foundation-building cultivators as cavalry. Although, I haven't been back home in a while, so I don't know the current situation. Zhao Mu nodded and told the 3 ghost clam followers, keep an eye on them. See what their objective is. If they start attacking people, take them out. But don't kill them all. Leave a few alive so we can find out some information. Yes, sir. The 3 followers nodded and flew off on their swords. Zhao Mu said, let's go straight into the city and head to Beichen Palace. Zhao Mu's father, Zhao Chen, was the current King Beichen of Zhao State. He was part of the royal family, but from a side branch. The title was hereditary, so Zhao Mu was a little prince. Unfortunately, he didn't get to enjoy the life of a carefree little prince for long before he was kidnapped by a demon cultivator from the Shengyuan Demon Sect. Come to think of it, the demon cultivator was called Wang Sheng, an outer disciple. Zhao Mu wanted to track him down and teach him a lesson, but Wang Sheng had been making a name for himself in the demon sect recently. He probably knew about Zhao Mu's rise to fame and had run off scared. The air boat soon appeared in the sky above Wushuan City. Magical items like that were rare in the mortal world, and it instantly drew a lot of attention. Zhao Mu looked down and saw faces filled with fear and panic. They probably thought he was an envoy from the great Zhou dynasty. Beichen Palace. The palace was in chaos. Some servants were even packing their belongings, preparing to flee. Your Highness, we can't wait any longer. Prince Xian from next door left the city with his family last night. If we don't leave now, we'll be trapped. Father, please take my siblings and leave quickly. I'm old, and the Zhou soldiers won't bother me. It's enough for me to stay and guard the house. That the princess's pleas and the eldest son's decision weighed heavily on Zhao Qian. The Beichen king, normally so confident and respected, was now consumed by worry and resentment. Is God determined to destroy my Zhao kingdom? Suddenly, a servant burst through the doors in a panic. Your Highness, something terrible has happened. Immortals have arrived on a flying boat and landed outside the palace. They must be envoys sent by the great Zhou.